Have you ever left a conversation, not defeated but drained, even after saying all you needed? That tightness in your chest, the lump in your throat, as if your words pushed you away from your dignity. Maybe you're surrounded by loud voices that interrupt, mock, and mask arrogance as confidence. For a long time, you might have thought silence meant weakness, that not fighting back was losing, surrendering. But what if silence, real, conscious silence, is mastery? Nietzsche, often misunderstood, observed that constant talkers reveal desperation more than clarity. The need to convince shows doubt. Society teaches us to see every conversation as a battleground to prove, defend, and win. But Nietzsche hinted at a stronger way, silence that commands attention through absence. True silence is dense with presence, unsettling, disarming, forcing others to face themselves without your validation. This isn't for dominators, it's for the dismissed, the quiet left invisible, the peacekeepers whose peace is taken for granted. Maybe you confused stillness with surrender, but what if silence is your greatest strength? Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy and self-respect. True power lies in no longer needing to argue. We're conditioned to respond, to defend, explain, prove, because we believe truth must be fought for. But Nietzsche saw this impulse as fear. Fear of misunderstanding, weakness, and a fragile ego that turns disagreement into war. Nietzsche wrote that people don't argue to find truth, they argue to hold power. They defend beliefs not because they're solid, but because challenges threaten their sense of self. Arguments aren't about clarity, they're about control, a desperate ego defense. When you feel the urge to explain or justify, know you've entered their game and lost leverage. The need to explain shows you're still hooked on being seen, accepted, validated, what Nietzsche called herd thinking. The silent fear of standing alone. Silence is stepping out. It's power without permission. What many call morality is often obedience in disguise, a performance to gain approval that keeps you small. Nietzsche saw this as quiet slavery, living by others' expectations. True strength, he said, isn't about applause but inner resolve. It's standing firm when mocked or misunderstood, calm while others lose themselves. It's mastery, observing, resisting the urge to react or explain, rooted amid chaos. If you're still trying to prove yourself, you've lost already. The reactive mind is controlled and predictable. The silent, observing mind is dangerous because it doesn't play the game. It creates pressure through presence, not persuasion. You may ask, how do I assert power without speaking? Nietzsche's answer: become the Übermensch. Rise above conventional morality, define your own code, and dominate through self-command. Here, silence is strategy, your stillness unsettling, your absence louder than 1,000 voices. Nietzsche didn't speak to the comfortable masses, but to the few willing to face their shadows and chaos without flinching. Most live trapped by social norms, morality masks, and the hunger for applause. But the rare, free human, the Übermensch, reshapes the world through silent self-possession, not loud declarations. While others argue, the Übermensch watches and calculates, not from fear, but command. He knows silence isn't weakness, but a weapon that dominates and demands attention without asking. This silence pulses with unspoken truths, unsettling others and forcing them to reveal their insecurities, while he remains unmoved. His silence is deliberate and controlled. Speaking without thought leaks strategy. Emotional reactions expose weakness. The Übermensch gives no map. He speaks not from doubt but confidence, needing no permission to exist. His presence declares, "I know who I am." What unsettles people isn't just his silence, but what it forces them to face. In a noisy world, he doesn't just escape chaos, he owns the room, changes the rules, and becomes the mirror others can't avoid. Nietzsche saw the Übermensch as one who rewrites reality from within, forging their own values, not trapped by guilt, fear, or the need for approval. This makes them dangerous because you can't manipulate someone who doesn't need your acceptance. Their silence is a fortress. When they speak, it shifts the ground beneath you. Why does this stillness feel threatening? Because by withholding reaction, you remove the expected script of defense and attack. This leaves others alone with their contradictions. People rarely speak to communicate. They speak to protect themselves, filling the gap between insecurity and their mask. True silence pulls that mask off without touch. Psychologists find silence in confrontation feels like judgment, causing fear and projection. The power flips. Control passes from the speaker to the silent observer. Silence is lethal, not by noise but by psychological precision. Words can be dodged. Silence drills into emotion, turning calm into confrontation. Those who hold still hold power. Long before neuroscience, Nietzsche knew most are ruled by reaction, not strength, but fear and insecurity. They speak not for truth, but to silence inner noise. These impulses are chains. The one who commands themselves knows every careless word gifts power to the enemy. Silence is not absence or weakness, it's presence concentrated, it's a force, a choice, a declaration. I do not react, I shape. Nietzsche wrote for those willing to transcend, to tear off every societal mask, even if it burns or isolates. The silence of the Übermensch is not cowardice or oppression, it's the stillness of a warrior who's already won before the battle begins, one who no longer needs to convince or impress because he knows who he is and what he deserves. Now look at your life and past. How often did you go silent, not from wisdom but fear? How often did you stay small so others wouldn't feel threatened? How often did you let others speak over your truth and allowed it? Enough. Now is the time to own your silence, not as a prisoner, but as its master. You're no longer here to survive. You are here to reign, quietly, undeniably, completely. Silence isn't absence, it's precision. A calculated stance, a defiant stillness saying, I won't be moved by noise or manipulated by need. Living submissively, swallowing your voice to spare others, is not humility, it's betrayal. Betrayal of your soul, your design, and your power buried under obedience. From now on, your silence must evolve. A silence that pulses, radiates identity, sets boundaries without shouting. Living this way demands courage, the courage to be misunderstood, walk alone, say nothing yet, never be silenced, stay calm while others scream. So, do you have that courage? Say it, for you, not for me, or the algorithm. I choose the silence that commands respect. Make it a contract with yourself. Because silence grows louder when backed by conviction. This is only the awakening. The next step builds on this. It's not for entertainment, but evolution. Remember, the weak shout, the strong remain silent, the wise choose when.